Well, under the category there's more ways to die than you think, a new virus has been discovered, or a new strain of a virus has been discovered in Arkansas that they are dubbing the Ozark virus. So I wanted to let you know about that. Good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? Grab a cup of whatever you drink and let's talk about this. For those of you with us over on the Patreon channel, I've already put up today's question on the chat. That's really working out well. That's a cool feature on Patreon. The chat that allows all of our members to post things throughout the day and ask questions or express their opinions or whatever, or share their knowledge. And that's one of the great things about over there. If you're not with us, the link's down below. I was getting ready to do another video. By the way, it's early in the morning. I don't have the Ozark virus that I know of. It's just that morning. I had some carbs last night. I had some bread and stuff like that. That always affects my throat. I used to think, I used to always be clearing my throat all the time. I didn't know what that was until I went on the carnivore diet, and then it doesn't happen anymore. So obviously that's what the deal was. Well, yesterday I let down my guard and I made spaghetti for the family and had some bread and things like that, and that always gets me. So that's just an explanation. Okay. So I was getting ready to do a different video today, and this popped up on the news, and this is from the Daily Mail. Isn't it interesting that we get so much news out of the Brits before we ever get it here, right? Or sometimes we never get it here. Well, this one popped up because it said, it talked about the Ozark virus in Arkansas, and as you know, that's we are in the Ozarks all the time, and we have land down in the Ozarks, so naturally and a lot of you live in the Ozarks, and a lot of you are considering moving to the Ozarks. I did a video on that not long ago. It's a great place. It's a great place. It has it has its good and bad, but it's a very popular destination for people in the preparedness world. So I want to read this, so that's why it caught my attention. And the headline here is, man in Arkansas catches virus carried by rats that has a 40% kill rate after state scientists discovered a dangerous new strain. I'll read a little bit about this, and as I always do, when I put this video over on the Patreon channel, I'll attach the link to this article so you can read it. Oh, well, I'll get that later. So it starts out, a man in Arkansas has been infected with a deadly virus carried by rats. Here, let me throw in this question. We already know that there is another pandemic headed our way, right? Yeah, is it real or is it Memorex? Who knows? Who really knows? You can't believe anything anymore. But apparently there's a new, more deadly strain coming out of China. Big surprise on that, right? Just in time for the next election season. Let's all get ready for lockdowns, shall we? Let's all get ready for food shortages. Let's all get ready for more control. We'll see how that works out. There are some who say it'll never happen again. Well, what they mean by is that people aren't going to knuckle under, that people have learned their lesson. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that at all. Talk about that in the next video. But well, we know that they're warning us about that, right? But here is something apparently different. So let me start this again. A man in Arkansas has been infected with a deadly virus carried by rats months after scientists in the state discovered a brand new strain. The patient from Little Rock was diagnosed with hantavirus, a family of viruses that kill about 38% of patients and spread in rodent droppings. Now, later on in the article, it'll say, well, it won't pass from human to human, and then it goes on to say, well, there's cases in Chile and Argentina where it has. Do you remember all the conflicting information we got at the beginning of that last brouhaha? Okay, so I'll continue. It is the first time the illness has been confirmed in a person in Arkansas. Testing is underway to find the exact strain he had been infected with. It comes after researchers from the University of Arkansas discovered a never-before-seen variant they said could be one of the most dangerous yet. The team named it the Ozark virus after finding it in hispid cotton rats in the Ozarks during the pandemic. Oh, those darn hispid cotton rats, right? I don't think I have any of those around here, but who knows? Okay, so no details have been released about the patient. They say about 800 Americans are sickened by the disease every year, with 300 fatalities. That's a high rate. But apparently this strain is new, and the hantavirus has not in the past been a common. I guess you got to play around with a lot of rodent poo to get it. But if it's developing into something that can be passed between humans, who knows, right? Let's see. He says the lead researcher Nathaniel Mull, who discovered the Ozark virus in 2021, told local media last week about the find when news emerged about the latest infection. He says, I was going out and catching rodents. What a job that must be, right? With the goal of finding out what hantaviruses they were infected with. So I didn't expect to find a new one in them. But those might even be the most dangerous ones because we're not aware of what they carry or where they're at any given time. Okay, here is, so those who are researching this down at the University of Arkansas, and for those of you around the country who don't know much about Arkansas, it's a beautiful state. It really is. But it's not all full of hicks and stuff. I mean, the doctors at the University of Arkansas wear shoes and all. In many places, it is a very high tech. In many cases, it's not. In many cases, it's old Ozarks, but in many cases, it's a very high tech state. So don't disparage this. So the researchers say it looks like severe flu that may develop into symptoms or complications with the heart and lungs. When the human is infected with a hantavirus, they can develop a disease called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. About 1 to 8 weeks after infection, patients usually suffer fever, sore muscles, headaches, nausea, vomiting, and fatigue. 4 to 10 days later, the disease progresses to shortness of breath and a sensation like a tight band around the chest and a pillow over the face, as one survivor described it. The disease attacks blood vessels in the lungs, causing them to leak and fill the lungs with fluid. This can lead to suffocation and death. Doctors treat the disease using ventilators. You all know the truth about ventilators? I can't say it here, probably, but do you all know the truth about ventilators? To ensure patients get enough oxygen, and IV drips to ensure they get enough nutrients and remain hydrated. Okay. So that's the gist of that. Well, we needed one more thing, didn't we? Whether this is real, is it real? There's going to be some come on here and say, this isn't real, they're just scaring us, there's nothing to it. Well, I would caution against having that thought. We all should be very circumspect. We should all question anything that is told to us about these things coming along. The danger is when we found that they were lying to us so much about something else that we'd assume anything coming along next would also be a lie, and that can put us in a position of of great threat. If I were going to do something, if I were the evil genius running the depopulation of the world, I would put out lies about a virus that wasn't all that deadly. And so nobody would believe the next time something came out about a virus, but I'd make that one real deadly, so that nobody would protect against it, right? Nobody would take any cautions. Everybody would go, oh, that's nonsense. They lied to us before. They're lying to us now. Now all of a sudden we get hit with a real one, and boy, Now we're on our way to the 500 million goal world population, right? Now I don't know whether you have to spend your life, scooping up rat poo to get this, or whether like they've discovered in South America, human to human transmission is possible. But we do know one thing, and that is, and I didn't always know this, viruses always mutate. They always mutate. And many have gotten to the point, well, it's nothing to worry about because it's not passed from, an animal to humans, and then one day it is. So anyway, keep that in mind. What was I going to say earlier? Oh my gosh, by the way, my books set a new record over on Amazon yesterday. I couldn't believe it. I don't know why. But maybe it's because it's Christmas. But anyway, this, and just to remind you that this and all my videos are brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series. 6 novels in which I include a complete plan, in a great story, by the way, of how to prepare for, survive, and rebuild after a complete collapse of everything. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. It's early. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. And they are available either through Amazon if you want to get them quick, or from me if you want to get them signed. And the Amazon link is down below, as is my website, stonemont.us. This is about Stonemont. And you can get them. You can order them. As I said yesterday, the orders have just wiped me out here. I ran out of books, but there's another order coming in. I expect it to arrive soon, and so you can still order from me. If you're not with us on the Patreon channel, I invite you over there. I started off today. Every day I'll start off the chat. It's been a great feature. People are really getting into this, and every day I've started off with a question. And today's question was, and I've said, what advice would you give new people, was a question the other day, and I forget the different questions, but it really lets people get involved. You don't have to stay to the question. If you just have a different idea, you can jump on the chat and say whatever you want. These are just kind of guidelines that I'm interested in. Today's question was, what have you changed your mind about? What have you changed your mind about since you started prepping? And I started it off with mine, and I've mentioned this several times before. I'm not going to get into detail. I've changed my mind about the so-called golden hordes. That old story about everybody spilling out of the cities into the countryside to eat all the food and people out there. And I don't, that's what I've changed my mind on. I no longer believe that would happen at all. So anyway, join us over there if you're not. The link is down below. Just cost you $1 a month. If you want to hear the reading, the audibles of the Stonemont series, I read the audibles on the Stonemont level over there on Patreon, and that's $5 a month. And I'm currently we're reading, or I'm reading, not we. I'm reading the Revival, the second book. The first book's already up there, the reversion. Now we're getting through the Revival, and I'll be adding a couple of chapters today. Well, I probably won't put them up. I'll probably record the chapters today, and they'll be going up, probably one today and one later in the week. We'll just kind of see how that works out. So if you're interested in that, and being able to listen to the Stonemont series read by the author, it's over there on the Stonemont level, the second level, on the Patreon channel, link down below. Anyway, so if you're out there collecting rat poo, be careful, and we'll kind of keep our eye on this, see what's happening with this new thing, and I'm not making fun of it. I mean, it just seems like, things are coming all the time. But the minute you start ignoring something, and this can be a plan, right? You just wear people out until they're not paying attention anymore. You don't want to fall prey to that, because sure as shooting, the minute you do, the real one's going to bite you in the butt. So anyway, keep that in mind. I'll put like I said, I'll put the link to the article over on when I put this on the Patreon channel. And think about it. We'll see what else is coming. I'm sure there's a lot more coming, aren't you? You sure? Yeah, there is a lot more coming. They might give us a few days break right around Christmas, right? Then they're going to be right at it again, and we will never know what's real and what's not. But always best to keep an open mind, to keep your ear, to the track, to to use discernment, and to prepare. Okay, remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, because you're going to live as well tomorrow as you prepare to live, and that preparation is done today. Get out there and do something, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.